We have not currently gotten any new spells. I guess this next level up is when we'll see that. Can hopefully start to see how the final sections of this run will be shaped. I mean, we can likely kind of make our way through with just Spellforge Servitor and Orb Destruction. That is a wombo combo that has served us well enough in the past to do so. But it would be nice for our level 9 spell to get some real firepower. And in fact, I think I mean that quite literally, because it has been a long while since I had a run that used a Firestorm. In fact, I can't even remember the last time. We were looking at it as a potential option in the Demon Spawn run if things hadn't gone horribly wrong there. So we just barely sidestep an Orb Destruction from our trusted ally here. I swear that servitor is going to be the death of me, but hopefully not today. But you know, when you say it with that intonation, I think generally it kind of has to be dealt part and parcel of the someday, not today, but screw it, sometimes the brain just takes over and we let it cook a little bit. Okie dokie. That should be most of our entrance party here, our welcoming party, I guess is the correct way to phrase that. Well, my Sphinx friend, no riddles today. Whoa, buddy. I reflected that with my shield. What were you thinking? Oh, me oh my. Definitely never a dull moment when you have a best friend at your side who has a strong recommendation and desire to launch destructive spells that are not the most consistent in terms of delivery. But this was a truth that we knew we must face. Let's just hope that we can continue to luck out and reflect any unfortunate, I'm going to call them accidents, until proven otherwise, because I believe our friendship is strong enough that it couldn't possibly have been intentional. Couldn't be deliberate on the part of our summoned friend here. I mean, sure, occasionally I intentionally blast them with a bit of a charge directly to the face, like so, Exhibit A. But that's different. Oh, the hypocrisy of the wizard. Okie dokie. That should just about do the trick. Let's be careful that we don't get into the path of that one there. And it's been an interesting start to our depths. Not quite as straightforward as I was originally expecting. Though I think that a huge part of that, huge chunk of it, is that we're being fairly responsible. I know. Can you believe it? How did we get here with our lives? That's not normal for a Torinski stream. But by which I just mean that we are keeping our distance. We're bringing in our friend at any and every given opportunity and just trying to let them do a lot of the heavy lifting. I think that that is going a long, long way in regards to keeping us as safe as we can. Okay, I was worried about that Reaver for a moment there. If they chose the right element to sling our way, we could very quickly have found ourselves in a less than palatable situation. But not today, my friend. Not today. Oh gosh. Where the hell are you, brother? Oh, I'm not on the right stairwell. Let's rectify that. In fact, let's just get the heck out of Dodge. No need to push ourselves too beyond the limits of our abilities here. We can kind of just reset this fight. Oops, no, let's not Just hit ourselves, and there we go. Feel a little more experience. I guess we do have a See Invisible ring that might have been a worthy endeavor to swap over to that bad boy just to try and ensure that we're not again taking anything for granted and playing as carefully as we can here. I feel like we were scarred by how the demon spawn run ended last week, and so doing my very bestest to avoid any such eventualities to the best of our abilities as we get another spell here in Enfeeble. It's unfortunately another level 7. I believe this was the level up where we had the chance to get a level 8. Enfeeble's okay though. And again, at the end of the day, don't need too much. I mean, I was about to say, for level 8 spells, do I really need anything? Then I immediately thought of Ignition. And it would be nice to have Ignition, but a bit of utility here or there, not the end of the world. Who knows, maybe we'll end this out with the same series of spells that we saw in the Great Player series. We could end up with like Death's Door and Revivification and all that sweet utility. I think Disjunction was the other one, but again, I always mix up those high-level translate location spells because they do very similar things, teleport near enemies far, and all that good stuff. Don't think you've ever cast Enfeeble Safin. We've had one run that it was our staple, and I'm trying to remember why that was the case. I don't believe it was a Djinni, though that's oftentimes what shoehorns me into using spells that I've never really touched before. And actually, now that I say it out loud, even though I had my doubts, there's a pretty good chance that that was indeed the case, and potentially even could have been the very Djinni run that I was just talking about. Where we got, yeah, just nothing but utility, so we were enfeebling just long enough for Fulminant Prism to do its magic. But all that to say that yes, it's a very rare case that we find ourselves. Ice Blast Wand. That's not great, because it means that we have to worry about cold and lightning all at once. And we unfortunately can't really hold down both those fronts simultaneously. But that's when we phone a friend and they solve all of our problems for us. In fact, I don't know what happened to our Tengu buddy. They somehow blast themselves into next Tuesday. Not that I'm complaining whatsoever. Oh wait, I had cold vulnerabilities there for a bit because I completely forgot that I also swapped over our cold resistance ring for See Invisible. Oh yikes. We definitely could have found ourselves with another one turn taking multiple hundreds of damage, much like we saw on the demon spawn run, so that's terrifying, to say the least. But there we go, nothing we can't handle, as the rest of the floor just slowly but surely makes their way over to the commotion. And wonderful. Oh snap, you can enfeeble orbs of fire and turn off their ability for like 10 turns. Wait, enfeeble prevents their abilities? Is this true? It does disrupt their magic. So at least has a chance to do so, right? Interesting. You know, that would make sense as to how we were even remotely able to kill Orbs of Fire with Fulminant Prism as our main source of damage, so I'm starting to fully fall into that narrative we were contemplating earlier, that it must have been the Great Player Djinni that we saw that spell coming into use at least a little bit more than we otherwise might have cast it. And as soon as we get past Depths 1 here, that leaves us in a much more comfortable spot. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess we've already kind of gone to the stage that's coming to mind right now, because it's specifically the fact that You always want to panic slightly more when entering into depths for the first time, just because you have the single entrance exit point. And so it can very oftentimes set the precedent for how the floor is going to be as you struggle to fight off or fend off waves and waves of enemies that, again, are just excited to see you. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that mentality. Are you here? Perfect. Who needs see invisible when you instead can just guess right every time? Hits things with irresistible anti-magic. Works on anything that casts spells, except the natural spells and priestly spells, apparently. Right, and I'm trying to think. Anti-magic definitely works on orbs of fire. Trying to think, what doesn't? Silence? Are they not affected by silence? Because they are, in some way, shape, or form, considered natural abilities rather than technically spells. Yeah, silence. Okay, that was definitely what I was thinking about then. I feel like I'm very quickly to kind of forget about the actual explicit list and just fall under the safe side of assuming that anything and everything will murder us in horrendous fashion. It's a good mentality to have in DCSS, though. I can't exactly complain at the end of the day. And that should be... I mean, I keep wanting to say that should be most of this floor and then being immediately proven wrong, but this time for realsies? Maybe? We do still have that corridor that we left behind before with the close quarters stone giant that we'll likely have to deal with in some capacity here. Oh, never mind. They woke up and came to see us. In fact, that's probably something I should have explicitly thought about earlier, is making some noise outside of the windy turns and just playing it safe. But Jesus Louise, look at this entire floor plan. I hope you like red, because our remodeling is a one-stop shop for a fully red motif throughout your domicile here. Beautiful. And let us get our friend nice and handy here and begin the sprinkler system of infinite orbs of destruction, as we are wont to do. Fantastic. And I guess keep on keeping on here. Ooh, I'll definitely buy an artifact ring. Do love to see that. Not as interested in the rest of these artifacts. I mean, the teleportation scroll, even though we have plenty, it's pretty dang cheap, so I guess might as well pick it up. Ooh, an electricity resistance on a ring does interest me. And in fact, let's get rid of the Staff of Air. Could live to regret that decision. I'm just kind of letting it percolate through the brainstem here and making sure that nothing is immediately flagged as a red marker here. But I think that should be fine. And otherwise, I'm just taking a quick peek through my inventory, because we might as well free up a spot. Or actually, what I was originally intending to do and almost forgot there was take a look. We have experience and cancellation as our 2 un-ID'd potions. So this is one of those. Sure, might as well grab it here. I guess we could also switch out our quiver here. Or what do we want to have? Quickly castable. I mean, Orb of Destruction, but it's at least on one of our easy macros, so probably not. Is there anything else? Could put Spellforge Servitor. Let's do Enfeeble. Why the heck not? And let's find an Identify scroll, because I believe, yeah, we just saw one very recently here. Oh, we just saw multiple. There we go. And blast ya. Oh, geez. You are not alone. Oh my gosh. They do travel in herds. I know it's the second time made that joke in relatively short span here, but such is life. Oh wow, and that's unexpected. The 2 stack of potions we had on us the whole time were the potions of experience all along. Well, I mean, doesn't seem like a horrible idea. In fact, it's not. It is arguably just the outright correct idea to chug these back now. That will get us to the shields goal that we had set for ourselves. We're kind of spreading it otherwise throughout a couple of skills here. And could go purely into spellcasting, I guess. But no, let's spread it out in a similar fashion once again here. Evo and fighting are just generally nice to upgrade, no matter how we slice it. So we get Maxwell's capacitive coupling. Huh. I mean, that is a very nice spell. That becomes our ipso facto or go-to unique management strategy, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. 12% failure rate, not great, but in the situations where we will be casting it, it'll likely be when we've managed to at least reduce enemies down to a single target, and it just has to work once. So I'll take that. Love to see it. And let us, yes, head back to the open road, shall we? That's why we had all of the simulacrums coming our way. You know, in retrospect, makes a lot of sense. But you know what, let's reach out and grab you. Beautiful. And no real issues. Fantastic. Oh, you had a fancy ring on you too? Right, I didn't see the strange number of stats show up, so that makes sense. But Enfeeble always anti-magics, always weaknesses, and has a good chance to daze, good chance to blind. Yeah, the blind and daze, that's based off of spell power, and does it check willpower? I don't think it said when we were checking out the spell here, but if we take another look, because it says fails to resist the full force of the curse, so I'm guessing that's going to be a willpower check. But it is nice that the anti-magic and the weakening is always effective. That's lovely. They last for 5+ turns each. That is definitely brutal. Debuff that we can inflict on our new friends here, so can't complain about that. The tricky part, the real difficulty therein comes in me actually remembering that we have that as an option. Feel a bit more experienced. Are you okay, Lich? What happened? I'm guessing that the Vile Clutch lasted like the max number of turns and managed to get a little bit more damage in before they escaped, so that is wonderful. Love to see it, to say the least here. And let's start walking ourselves back here on a little bit of a path to safety, just making sure that we don't overstretch comfort zone too much here, if at all possible. There we go. The Spectral Spark Wasp being a pain in our rear, not really a problem by any stretch, just slightly annoying. And there we go. See, now we've decorated once again here, making the dungeon lovely, one stairwell at a time. Perfect. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe I should actually be using this Enfeeble slightly more often. Okay, the anti-magic not working immediately against our friend there, but that's fine. Let's just reach out and grab you and you. And in fact, we can kind of... Okay, no longer, but for the moment there, for a moment I should say, we were actually in a pretty solid spot to cheese out the one wide hallway. But hey, it is all working out all right in the end here. And I guess we probably need a bit more spell casting. Looking at the casting rate on MCC means that our level 9 spells might take a little bit more work in that department before they're fully operational. The other thing is I really should swap over to electricity resistance just to make sure nothing silly happens against our storm-infused friend here. Excuse me. Back off, please, and thank you, if you could be so kind. Fire, on the other hand, not really as much of a concern. But holy moly. Let's, for safety's sake, switch back over to our cold resistance. At least lightning at this stage is a little more rare, though we might want to switch the polarity on that as we get closer to Zot. Okie dokie, Caustic Shrike, if you could back off, friend. Thank you, I appreciate it. So kind for them to acquiesce to our desires without much convincing, really. Very polite, which is unusual for a Caustic Shrike, because usually they're quite toxic as well. Not from a biological standpoint, but just from a mentality one. There we go. Fantastic. Storm dragons do exist. That is something that I should probably remember a little earlier on, to at least be on the lookout for, as another one of our, oh gosh, we need to panic and switch over to our other ring as soon as possible type beat. But overall, still not going too poorly for us here. Sorry, Spellforge Servitor. Don't mean to be rude there and fire off some shots directly into you, but such is necessary when push comes to shove. Again, the best friendships are all completely one-sided and riddled with hypocrisy, right? How else will you form a trusting relationship unless you're the one that's taking advantage, of course? It can't be the other way around. Don't be ridiculous. Our Spellforge Servitor hitting me. Now that's a problem for the ages, but the opposite? How could it possibly go wrong? And what the heck are you, my friend? Oh, Vampire is more annoying than I was originally expecting, so I'm glad that we put on the ring to at least make sure. I guess it makes sense. Unseen horrors at this stage, I mean, not only are rare to show up because we're a little over-leveled for that, but also wouldn't have been hitting for quite the whammy that we were seeing there in retrospect. Oh, Enchantress, Orb Destruction. It's not a good day for you. We just happen to be built very much as almost a direct counter to everything you live and stand for. So sorry, not sorry. Beautiful. And not too shabby. Let's just continue to slowly but surely make our way through. I guess this only dips too. Holy moly. Things have very much taken a turn for the cautious here, I guess. That's how to phrase it. Is this... Okay, I was about to say, is this orb going to turn around and blast me in the face? But more importantly, let's not get spark wasped to death here, shall we? So, careful with the key presses here. Now would be a very embarrassing time to get ourselves killed off. 90% chance to fear. As another one comes out of the woodwork. I'm trying to think, where can I blink that's least likely for me to take my own orb directly to the face? Because I think I will blink. And in fact, let's just head down this direction. Play it as safe as we possibly can. Which would also entail, I guess, swapping over to the resist electricity. I mean, honestly, I just don't want to fight any of you at all. Maybe the spark wasp. It's gonna tell myself doesn't know which direction we took, but hello there. Okay, I guess goes down to 2d9 damage with our resistance. So that's not great, but not horrible. Probably will just have that be our secondary, or the use of our second to last potion of healing, and then I guess we can enfeeble you? And in fact, that might have just been the play sooner rather than later, and we do just barely squeak on by to get out in one piece. Let's not do that again. Spark wasps are nothing to fool around with here, especially since that was very much just a foolish bashing of our forehead into stone there, as it was a single spark wasp that actually put us into overdrive. So that's slightly embarrassing for a seasoned adventurer like Djimmi here.